Come and listen to this nonsense.
Some of you men, you don't know how to be men in your house. Be tired of your wife controlling you. If your wife controls you, you are a useless man. Men, don't let your wife control you. What you say must happen. That's why women were told to submit. You can't have your wife tell you everything you must do is your wife that is telling you. For what? Sit down there. We are not going anywhere. And she must sit down. If she doesn't, you send her back. Let her go to her mother's house and cool down. I need to straighten up some things this year.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to the part where he said, that is why women were told to submit. Listen, then he went ahead and said, what you say must happen. If you tell her, sit down there, we're not going anywhere, and she refused, send her back to her mother's house. I'm pointing this out to the men who come to my live stream to tell me that submission in marriage is not what the literal meaning of submission entails. I am yet to understand how a word has its meaning, and then when you take it out to apply it into marriage, it suddenly loses its meaning and means something else. What this pastor is describing is what submission is. You tell a woman what to do, how to do it, where to go, how to breathe like a mindless zombie. I will keep telling you people, submission has no place in marriage. If you like, bash me. No man that loves you will require you to give up your autonomy. Imagine where a pastor will say that a man is useless if his wife controls him. Men and brethren, we need to really pause, not to argue emotionally, but to think carefully, because language like this does not strengthen men, it reduces them. It does not build families, it turns home into a battleground, and it does not reflect strength or wisdom, it reflects fear of equality dressed up as authority. And let us be very, very clear, a home where what a man says must happen is not a home well built. A home where one person is in power produces fear, resentment, emotional distance, and eventually collapses. The idea that a man is being controlled simply because the wife has opinions, influence, and decision-making power shows how narrow many of you understand masculinity. If your sense of manhood disappears the moment your wife disagrees with you, then the problem is not your wife. The problem is the insecurity of your definition of manhood. A confident man is not threatened by partnership. A secure man does not need dominance to feel respected. A wise man understands that listening to your wife is not you losing control you never had in the first place. It is intelligence. Marriage is not a military hierarchy. It is not a throne with a subject kneeling beneath it. Marriage is a covenant between two thinking, capable adults who bring different strengths into a shared life. When your wife contributes ideas, challenges decisions, or influences outcome, that is not control, that is participation. Calling that participation control is simply a way to silence women while pretending to empower men. And here is the uncomfortable truth many men don't want to say out loud. Some men prefer dominance because they have not yet developed the emotional maturity required for partnership. If you have never heard it before, I am telling you now. Partnership requires patience, it requires humility, it requires the ability for you to be corrected without feeling emasculated. Dominance, on the other hand, is very easy. You shout, you threaten, you spiritualize your ego, and you call it order. But real order does not come from fear. Real respect is not enforced, it is earned. To the young men listening to messages like this, you know I have your best interests at heart. And I know we live in a generation where you appreciate the ones that mislead you and you want to make them role models. You see men like us who are trying to teach you to be decent, healthy human beings. You call us simp or pandaras. I know, but please be careful. Not every loud voice is a wise one. A man who teaches you to fear your wife's influence is teaching you to build a lonely home. A man who tells you that your wife must submit for you to feel like a real man is admitting that his masculinity cannot survive equality. Strong men do not need to be obeyed to feel strong. They just need to be trusted. They need to be respected, not because they are men, but because they are fair, loving, consistent, and responsible. And finally, to the men already married or hoping to be married, your wife is not your enemy. She is not a power struggle to be won. She is not a subordinate to be managed. She is your partner in building a life. A real man does not ask, how do I make my wife submit? He asks, how do we build a life where the both of us can thrive? That is not weakness, that is maturity, and that is the kind of masculinity that is worth passing on to the next generation. I don't know, I have to be on the internet correcting pastors and the message they are preaching from the altar. And in case you want to cry, bah, see buckets.